Hey Lou, how are you? Chris Manzi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
So questions about the show. We want to cover some questions about the show, some personal questions, how you got into television.
We've been doing these celebrity bio interviews, and originally the show was more just, a typical celebrity talk bio, Larry King type thing. And then we started getting into like the causes that the celebrities are into, and the show really kind of took a turn. And some of the conversations, especially recently, have been really just intense subject matters. We just did a conversation with Cassandra Hepburn, who took a 1.5-year hiatus out of her acting career to do like third world country, humanitarian causes. And she goes into detail about going to Haiti after the earthquakes, and just really detailed descriptions about what she experienced in Haiti, and with several hundred thousand bodies, and it's just really intense stuff. And then she talks about human trafficking, and and some of the fights that they've been waging overseas to stop human trafficking. And it's just really, the show is pretty pretty intense with some of the subject matters that we've covered.
Yeah, no, and it's what's kind of nice about a show like this, when you're interviewing people on Skype and you're able to get this kind of intimate with them, and you're able to let these other people drive the conversation. I feel like you're able to get a lot more out of them as well, right?
Absolutely, and they're sitting in their own atmosphere, and it's kind of funny because she's sitting there in kind of her nighty shorts and a shirt on the bed, and at one point she kind of
sexy images, by the way. Those are really those are good. That's a reason to check the website out alone on its own. Right there.
I know. And she leans back, and all of a sudden you realize that in the middle of this just intense conversation, holy crap, she's sitting in her nightie on her bed.
But it's so great because you watch TV now and you see these shows and everybody's got okay, we want to talk about this and this, we want to make sure we promote this, but when you're meeting them and you're one-on-one and you don't have any publicists sitting around and you don't have their producer and their agent in the room next door, you really do get to talk about whatever you want. And I feel like these people, they probably have a lot of experiences. Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's insane. And the funny thing is, I was almost the one who was caught off guard because I'm talking to this girl, and she's an actress and a model, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll talk about fluffy things and maybe, this or that.
Girly stuff,
Yeah, and she kind of cuts me off and starts, telling me, well, actually, Lou, and I'm like, whoa, holy cow, this is gonna be an interesting interview. What was started out as a 20-minute interview turned into 45 minutes of, just going on and on. I was like, wow, this is really great. Yeah, it's true. Without the publicist there, you don't have anybody, doing the slit throat, air routine, don't steal second, sign.
No, that's really good. Tell me a little bit about the show. How did you get started with Icon News?
Well, we had a show called ADHDtv that was on nationally for a couple of years.
That's right. Didn't you win an award for that as well?
Yeah, we did not win. We were nominated for a couple of Emmys.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And it was quite an honor, and we took our whole crew down to the Emmy nomination in San Diego, California, and we were definitely the oddball group there, and it was a lot of straight-laced news reporting crews there, and we were kind of the oddball left field bunch, and we didn't win, but we had a great time. We had an just incredible time.
That's great. So how did ADHDtv lead to Icon News?
I had a partner who I had started ADHDtv with in the beginning, Gino Smith, and we sat down one night and we were just brainstorming and discussing different things, and he told me, he said, I think it's time for you to kind of take a turn in your career, kind of go to the next level, step it up. The ADHDtv thing looks like a lot of fun, but it's time to get into your serious journalism. And I agreed with him, and he said, I got this idea for the show called Icon News. And originally the idea was kind of an internet thing where it was like TV merging with internet, icons on the side of the screen. And as we'd go from story to story, it would kind of flip from icon to icon. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that, but there's just something missing. And I've always had a real passion for Hollywood and celebrities and, world leaders following JFK and stories like that. And I thought, what about we change it, instead of icons on the side of the screen, we just interview icons about, things that, that matter to them, but at the same time, positive causes. But how about about we keep that integration of the internet, but instead of using the visual of the internet, why don't we actually use Skype, catch them with a bubble cam, and just get real intimate and close with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely awesome that, the internet's able to bring these two different types of people, so much closer together now, people, their audience, and these icons.
Absolutely.
Really is something else. Now, when you first got started, how did you first get into this television and broadcasting and all these kinds of things here?
It's funny. I was a musician who was starving artist, and I wasn't making it with my music. And I had always had a passion for television, and I was at a crossroads in my life, and I decided, I want to just completely make a change, reinvent myself, go back to an old passion of mine. I had a girlfriend who was crazy enough to believe in me.
Yeah, we've all had crazy girlfriends. It's okay.
We all have. And I don't know how she put up with me, but we jumped in the car one day. We left everything. We packed just what we could fit in this little car, and we went down to Los Angeles. I didn't know anybody, had no connections. I got a job at Saban Entertainment, and that's where they make the Power Rangers and a lot of the Saturday morning cartoons. It was the first job I could get. I didn't even really know what the Power Rangers were at the time. And I slept in their parking lot for about a month so I could get a couple of checks together and go rent a dingy hotel in downtown Los Angeles.
Jeez.
And this poor girl slept out on the concrete with me for like a little over a month.
That's dedication right there. I have to say,
know.
She really must have been crazy. That is true dedication.
Yeah, the stuff was piled up in the car. We couldn't even sleep in it.
Man, that's really great. So tell me, I mean, with the new season coming up, what kind of people, who are we going to be having on the show? Give me some sneak previews here.
Oh man, we've got some really good ones, man. We've had Ruth McCartney, Paul McCartney's sister. She doesn't do a lot of interviews, which is the interesting part. She did a few interviews in the 80s and 90s, but she got so tired of always answering questions about Sir Paul that nobody ever asked her about who she is.
Yeah.
So we're like the first show that actually asked her, well, what do you do? And her answer was actually really interesting. I won't spoil it on the interview, but that was a really good one. We got Christina DeRosa, who's an Extreme movie, and she was on Entourage, started that TV show, Zane's Sex Chronicles, kind of a controversial show on late night cable. And then we had Dominic Raines, great actor who's got 2 breakout roles in Gin that's coming out later this year, and just came out with the Taquadors. It's a great movie.
I saw that. That's a pretty good that's like a full feature interview you have on there on the website.
Yeah,
right now, right?
yeah.
That was really nice.
He's great. I actually met him on the set of Gin. I was out in Detroit for about a month and a half, hanging out on the set of Gin, and just a great actor, a great friend. Ferran Tahir, another guy that I love. He was there on set. We hung out, and I got back and I called him and I said, "Hey man, I'd love to have you on Icon News and just come on and share a little bit about the movie and try to get Serinda Swan on too, but I haven't gotten in touch with her yet."
Well, it'll come. It'll come. It might just, it's going to take a little while, but with persistence, I'm sure we'll be bringing her on soon.
Yeah.
That's great. And now, are you guys going to be focusing? Is it mainly actors or musicians? Who's your real target here? Because I know you have that higher message, and the higher message is really great. But who can we bring in to really resonate that message with viewers?
A lot of actors. We've only had one musician so far, and that's Lil J, who is actually an actor and musician. So he's kind of a little more actor than musician now. Just won 3 awards on 9. Great show.
Oh.
So Lil J is on there. We plan to have more musicians. I'd love to have some political leaders eventually come on the show, maybe in the second season. But in the first season, you'll see lots of actors and models mostly.
That's actors and models. It's a great combination.
Yeah,
any guy would like that, right?
Absolutely. We got to have that man. We got to feed the man soul.
But again, there's a softer side to everything. It is about what these people have done and their experiences, and how they've been able to contribute, and hopefully how we can look to them and look to them as role models now, as the icons that we want them to be.
Absolutely.
That's really, really great. We're actually going to go to commercial real quick, but when we get back, we're going to be talking a little bit more with Lew about Icon News and all these great things he's bringing to the internet. We'll be back soon. All right, we're back to XKDU with Lew Marklin here. Lew, with Icon News, you can find him on YouTube, right, Lew?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so Lew, you used to work with the Dodgers for a little bit too, right? What was that like working? You baseball fan? Were you a Dodgers fan? That's what really mattered.
Oh man, it was the man's dream come true. It's when I was a kid growing up, when I was about 8 years old, 9 years old, my big dream was to be a pitcher for the LA Dodgers. I used to watch every broadcast. I grew up with the sound of Vince Scully teaching me the strikes, balls, outside pitches, all that good stuff. And it was just a dream. I was in college and I thought to myself, where would I intern? Where's the one place I'd love to intern and work? And I thought, you know what, the LA Dodgers. I started working for them as a cameraman, camera utility, and an editor. And I got to tell you, it was like Field of Dreams, man. The opening season, 2004, I'm standing out there on the mound, and Fernando Valenzuela's throwing out the opening pitch, and 5 or 6 of the Dodger greats, Steve Garvey and Ron Say, and all these guys standing right next to me. And I mean, the hair on the back of my neck was just, it was standing up. It was standing up. It was like, wow. I mean, there's like 100,000 people in the stadium. They're screaming. The stealth bombers fly over. I'm holding this camera. I almost dropped the camera. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's insane. Yeah, it was, I loved it, man. It was just, it was amazing.
So you were working cameras for the Dodgers, right? You get to film everyone. Dream come true. You get to be around these guys all the time, right?
Yeah.
How did this lead you to ABC? How did that whole transition take place?
Well, ABC was another internship. I took 2 internships in college. One was at ABC, and the other one was with the Dodgers. And when my first internship ended, I actually left and went to the Dodgers. And then I came back to ABC after the season was over. And with the new experience I had with the Dodgers, they gave me a better position. And I was working floor cams for the news and kind of learning how news works and broadcast. And left to go back to the Dodgers again, and then I came back to ABC after the second season, and I moved up to producer and editor, and was upstairs and had the office with the view and all that good stuff. It just kind of kept growing,
That's I've heard that ABC is one of those promote from within companies. They like to bring up from within. So I mean, that's really good. You get all this, and you get all this production value too. You get to see all the different parts of what goes into making things happen, and it sounds like you worked all the other ends. So it seems like the next logical step would be producing your own stuff, right?
It would seem that way, and unfortunately, not everyone saw it that way. When I first started to make my dream known, I actually experienced a lot of friction from within at ABC and had to leave there. But I knew that was my dream, and I went with it, and I took that chance, that leap of faith, and I left, and I took my savings, and I started my first production with the money I had in my savings account.
That's great. What was your first production? What was that first one?
The first production that we did was ADHDtv. The first show I produced was a local ABC show called Cottage Health Life. Real sleeper show, nothing special. But that was the first show that I produced on my own budget, which was ADHDtv. And the first year, it was completely produced on my own budget, and I almost went bankrupt doing it.
But now we've moved on to bigger and sexier things. Tell me about this Ultimate Women's Challenge.
Oh man, it's funny. When we were making ADHDtv, I was shopping to hire a producer to shop the show when it was done filming. And I met Lyle Howery, who had a new show that he was working on. He had done a lot of fight shows, was real well known in the fight world. He needed my help with the production on his show, and I needed his help to pitch my show. So we combined, and I ended up executive producing on a women's fight show for NBC called Ultimate Women's Challenge. And it was just a ton of fun. Joanna Krupa, we worked with her. She's just gorgeous, amazing woman. She was the announcer along with Boss Rutan, who's just an animal. And we had 16 beautiful women who were professional fighters, and they lived together, they trained together, they fought together, and at the end of 16 episodes, they all faced off in the ring, in the octagon, battled it out like true warriors.
So wait a minute, you put 16 women in the same house as each other, right?
Yeah.
How much of that did you get to experience? Like, did you get to hang out at the house? You get to go by for drinks every once in a while, have some dinner there, right?
It's when the cameras aren't rolling, it's a wild and crazy place, man.
I'm sure. And what happens in Hollywood stays in Hollywood, right?
I know. If I would have had your number, Chris, if I only would have had your number.
We would have been hanging out with 16 of the strongest women who could have kicked any of our butts, right?
Oh,
that's what it would have been.
Yeah. You gotta be careful. You got to make sure you sauce them up enough, or else they're fast.
Jeez, and that's led to a couple of other shows, right? You had a couple of other TV productions. There was That's Funny, right? That's Funny, and Check It Out.
That's a kids show. It's a kids game show starring Georgia Van Kylenberg, great Aussie comedian and actress. She's the voice of Anil from Final Fantasy 13 for all those video game lovers out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just a great gal, and we had Sardia Marley, who's an up and coming rising talent on the talk show or on the stand up comedian circuit. She's all over the country now.